Show the shimmy. Is that 2 days in a row in a Raiders gear? 2 shows in a row. Can we get a round of applause for my friend Robin Rocco? What is going on, Crypto Familia? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live, and happy Monday. I am one of your hosts, David, and we are coming at you from our studio here. And it's kind of dark and gloomy, rainy, weird weather, Las Vegas. Only on the weekdays live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that anyone says on this channel is really the chat. It should be taken as financial advice, so please, as always, do your own research. With that out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to the other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information. We package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams. We also do YouTube Shorts, which we had a pretty good one on the channel there over the weekend. If you haven't checked those out, check them out. And how would you know to check them out if you didn't have our notification bell hit?
What's the metric saying?
The notification bell metric is highly underperforming. It's only, I haven't checked it in a while, but last I checked it, it was like 10% of our subscribers are notified bell checkers. And also, hit the like button.
You are so proud of that craft you made.
It's an amazing.
You're gonna
piece.
feature it again in a BitBoy around
Like
the
my
blockchain
7-year-old. Dad, look what I made. Look what I made. He just keeps annoying you with it.
Well, I'm gonna annoy the crap out of our viewers until you hit the like button. So, and then yeah, if you just started watching us, subscribe, do us a favor, don't miss the content.
Everyone wants to know, where are your laser eyes in the thumbnail?
My laser eyes? I'm missing something?
On your thumbnail.
Am I supposed to have laser eyes?
I mean, it would be cool if you did.
You know, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Laser eyes.
Michael Saylor borrow it.
I don't. Yeah, I think the laser eye thing. I think it looks kind of cheesy. Man.
What?
It's never a fan of it. Man.
That's the ethos of blockchain and crypto.
I understand that you're supposed to signify being laserist and all this.
So are you crypto?
No, not at all. I'm just anti do a PNG freaking file transparent eye lasers. It's I don't know. Not a big fan.
Lasers.
All right, so real quick, let's get into our roll call. First in the chat, Strictly Sports, and then we got Big Chili Willie, Yoshi, Marky Mark, Salvatore, Robert Salazar up in here, one of our newest members. We got Hit or Miss, R.A. Daniel, Nordy, K Factor, Why You Loud Gang, and then we got Fino, Nordy, and Atomic Atom. Oh, we got somebody new up in here, MD. OPPO. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If you are new, make sure you say hello so we can drop a hola.
Medapo.
Medapolo?
Dr. Oppo.
Apolopoulos?
Octopus.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I like better. What do you like better? Dr. Op. Doc Op. Like Doc Ock, but Doc Op. That's a good one. Doc Op is your new name. We like to give nicknames sometimes to our viewers here. So welcome to the channel, Doc Op. Welcome to our Crypto Familia.
Yeah. At the last second, we Hanya and JB up in here. Welcome, guys. And ladies. Might I add?
Yes.
And so Bitcoin.
Yes.
Still over 20K, man. You know what's a little pullback, but
Guys,
not looking too bad.
Bitcoin printing a very bullish pattern on the charts. We're going to go over that during our market watch. So, by the way, if you're watching this after the fact, we will have timestamps in this video so you can navigate through as you please. But we do recommend watching it from beginning to end so you don't miss any exciting things that happen here at Sin City. How was your weekend, man?
It was good, man. I kind of unplugged.
Your Tesla, or
Huh?
you unplugged the Tesla?
No, do not own a Tesla.
Why not?
I kind of took my eyes off of the markets for a couple of days. So, yeah, I kind of got caught up to speed this morning. But, yeah, I just kind of needed a little mental break, I guess. I was hanging out with my son. Oh, is that a super chat already? Dang. Why you loud dropping that $9.99 super gift? Which is
gang.
gracias.
The Super Gang.
Super gang.
Thank you, my friend. We
Thanks for
appreciate
the Super Gang.
appreciate all this.
Mhm.
We love you guys.
And
Let me-
that's how we pay our lease here. No sponsors. We only use super chats and channel memberships.
And
And
other
then-
things we cannot talk about. You know what I realized over the weekend?
What's that?
Water parks are overrated.
No, water parks in Vegas are absolutely atrocious.
Fair.
First of all, there isn't even supposed to be water in Vegas. So
There is no
that
water in
just
Vegas.
is a contradictory on itself. It would be like
It
going
was
to
so it was
a-
so bad.
But it is the Bellagio fountain anyway.
yeah, man.
That's where you
Dude,
go find quarters.
If you
Rocco.
ever come to Vegas, do not visit a water park. Essentially, it is a parking lot
seriously don't.
with a few slides and a bunch of angry families. Kids are screaming, overpriced hot dogs, and
not even
the
about the
UV
money.
rays will straight up expedite the cancer process. So there you go.
It was bad. I told my wife, I was like, the only time I'm ever coming back here is if I can literally have enough money to buy out the whole park for a day.
Mm.
Because standing in line for an hour to get on a 35-second ride, it was terrible. So, anyways, we hope you guys had a great weekend. And without further ado, let us start by getting into our market watch. Robin, take it away.
All right. So, taking a look at the crypto markets, Bitcoin is sitting at $21,970. And we got the Bitcoin chart one. We got all kinds of new graphics and stuff. We're trying to elevate our experience. Oh, look at that.
By the way, big shout out to our man Rocco. He put this together, man. This dude is a straight best of mine.
Oh, yeah. So Bitcoin
Thank you.
sitting right under 21,000. A little bump up from last week, but a little pullback from last weekend. And a lot of questions are coming in on what is going to happen with this Fed meeting. Are we going to see the 100 basis points? Are we going to see?
I'm sorry, but this is so dope. This is so dope, man. Right? How cool is that? I'm sorry.
Can we proceed? Are you good?
If it's not important to Robin, it's not important to anyone. Go ahead, Robin.
Okay, this is very important, everybody.
I'm gonna take the graphic
David
away
says
now.
it's so dope.
It's cool,
It's dope.
man. You put in all this hard work and time, and you see the production. Like you see it on the iPad, you see it on the TV. It looks cool, man.
Awesome.
Hey, go ahead.
If you just tuned in, we will get the show going. All right, so we got Reviver. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
It's a River.
What is
Okay,
it?
I'll give you that. That one was a little
It's not Reviver?
River.
Reviver? Revolver. All right, so back at it. Can you pull up the top 10 list as well? So we got Ethereum coming in at $1,529. Everything in the red here. We got the top 10 coins you see here on the right-hand side. And we omitted the stable coins there in case you're wondering where those went. They did not go to zero, in case that's what you're wondering. BNB at 250. Cardano at 50 cents. You know what? I'm anticipating that I shift my position from Ethereum to Cardano.
When?
I think so. My personal game plan, my own personal advice for myself, and not from the viewers, is I got in at an average buy on about $1,100 on Ethereum. So I'm thinking if this thing can get to about 1,800, because it was at 1,600 a couple of days ago. If Ethereum can get to 1,800, I think I'm gonna exit stablecoin for a week, maybe 2 weeks at most.
Okay, let me ask you.
Because this is what I think is going to happen. I think ETH is going to pump by Wednesday. Maybe it gets to 1,700. Hopefully it gets to 1,800. If that happens, I'm going to exit my position. I'm going to wait for the 100-point basis rate hike to come out by the Fed.
You think 100's coming?
I think they're going to drop a full 1%.
I think 75.
Because they don't have a meeting next month. And
Doesn't mean they can't do an emergency
historical
meeting.
inflation about to reach the double digits, I think the Fed is got a spotlight on them. And I think they're going to just ratchet this thing up one more time before the elections because they don't want to do it later. So why not do one heavy one now? And then from there, I think the market's going to pull back. You're going to see crypto pull back. You're going to see Ethereum pull back. I'm going to be sitting there on the side with my stable coin. And then once the little steam gets back into the market, I think I'm going to go in on Cardano. They do have another upgrade coming up soon as well. And I do think in comparison to Ethereum, I think it's time for an ADA pump. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm not even talking about the charts. You don't think ADA's due to pump? Or you think it's just going to do its ADA thing where it doesn't do anything for like 4 months?
Well, the hard fork's supposed to come. And so all the on-chain metrics say that yes, but I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. But long term, I fully believe in Cardano. But as far as you talking about the next 12 months, I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather keep it in Ethereum and just keep slowly adding little bits into Cardano because I don't think Cardano is going to moonshot anytime.
I don't know. We'll see. I haven't made my decision yet. That was more of like a brainstorming thing.
So if you're going to put in stablecoin, which one are you picking? Circle?
Circle and Tether aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So.
Hey, you were saying Tether might implode, remember?
There was a lot more volatility at one point, and maybe was it like 2 months ago when Tether was like 98 cents? Yeah, I mean that's a cause for concern. And now we're seeing less volatility in the price, so we have more price stability. And I think that one was pretty close. You know, when Tether was at 98 cents, it was a lot to do with the fact that the market was testing out Tether. They saw the collapse of UST, and they're like, hey, let's see if we can break this Tether thing. Supposedly, they're not back to one by cash. And yeah, so now I think it's we've had a little calm in the market. I don't plan on keeping my money in Tether for the foreseeable future till God knows when. But you know, for my trading purposes, I feel comfortable with Tether in the next say 2-3 months. I don't think it's going to go anywhere in that period of time. Could it go somewhere by the next 2 years? Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, there's a possibility anything can happen. So I mean, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that Tether to have some kind of issue and
I literally wouldn't discount anything. Yeah. Nothing. Coinbase going under, Binance, even though highly unlikely, I would not discount anything. So mitigate your risk, my friends. You know, let's jump into some on-chain metrics for Bitcoin. So you want to pull up my laptop, Rocco. So a couple of things. I have a couple charts here I want to show you guys. So this chart compares Bitcoin shrimp wallets to Bitcoin whale wallets. So the green line is Bitcoin wallet addresses with more than 0.1 Bitcoin. Blue line indicates wallets that hold more than 1,000 Bitcoin. And the shaded gray line is the price of Bitcoin. So as you can see, I got it zoomed in here from April of last year, so a little over a year. And you can see consistently shrimps and retail have been buying up Bitcoin and adding to their wallets. And we are at an all-time high. There's currently over 3.7 million Bitcoin wallets with at least a tenth of a Bitcoin. On the contrary, the whales have been steadily dumping since June. And we actually have an article we're going to talk about as far as institutional capitulation on Bitcoin and exactly how much money they have dumped on the market, which will show us why we dropped all the way down to 17.5 and why we might have already bottomed, okay? Why we might have already bottomed. But we are currently sitting at 2,100 Bitcoin wallet addresses that have more than 1,000 Bitcoin. At the height, where we're sitting at 2,300. 2,300 versus 2,100. So might not seem a lot, but you multiply that difference by 1,000 Bitcoin, that is a lot of money. And then the next thing I want to talk about is this is a chart comparing futures long liquidations versus futures short liquidations. Obviously, green is long, red is short, and the gray is the price. You can see here we've had spikes of short liquidations, but we are currently, volume's kind of low. There's only currently, as of yesterday, there's only 5.6 million futures longs that have been liquidated and 7.4 shorts that have been liquidated, million, of course. At the height here, we had over $44 million in shorts that were liquidated. That's when we saw the price of Bitcoin rise from about 20,800 to close to 22,500. Not a lot of volume on the futures trading, but I do expect to see a lot more with the FOMC meeting coming up on Wednesday. Whether they announce 100 or 75, I don't think 100 is priced in because I don't think 100 is going to happen. I think 75 is going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. Robin, what do you think? What do you think about this chart? You think once the interest rate hike gets announced, you'll see more volume on these futures liquidations, whether it's to the long or the short side?
I think we're gonna have we've already had a big pullback on the volume as it is over the weekend. Let me see. Volume 63 billion. Little pullback. We're still we're substantially way off of our all-time highs when it comes to where we were. We were almost at 200. Was it 200 billion at one point?
That's when we were. That's
at the height of the market. So yeah, at the height of the market.
The height of the bull run.
Yeah, height of the market and the sell-off. So for me, I just don't see. For one, the situation right now is that the U.S. economy and the global economy is in a recession, pullback, and we have GDP numbers. Here, pull up my laptop. So this is the GDP number last. This is where we've been. So the GDP basically measures economic growth, our total consumption or total production of goods. Basically, you have over 4%, over 6%, or over 6%, over 7%. Little pullback, 7%. Then we had our first pullback here in Q1. We are, which was down 1.6%. We're expecting another negative number. The Atlanta Fed is forecasting, what is it, like 5 or
1.6, same as last.
So
quarter.
same as last. So, which would be the definition of a recession, is to have two consecutive down GDP or negative GDP.
You know
growth.
what's funny is the White House. It was either a tweet or a social media, or it was a post. They said a lot of
you're talking about Janet Yellen's comments.
I don't know if it was Janet Yellen. I'm pretty sure it was from the White House.
It was her department as well.
They were like, a lot of economists don't look at 2 negative GDP quarters as a means for a recession. I'm just like, you guys are just making shit up as you go.
Well, here's the thing: we're going into an election year when it comes to the midterms, and that's right around the corner. That's October, November. So next month is obviously September, when we're probably going to ramp up the
Next month is August.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking we're in August already. But anyways, in the next month, probably in the next 30 days or so, you're going to start seeing a lot of ads. I'm already seeing the ads for the campaigns. You're going to see that like increase 10, 20 fold. So right now, everyone's working on their image and where we're at. And this is a recession is not good for re-election. And historically, especially with presidential candidates, but in midterms, they tend to flush the system out when you're in a recession. People are upset. They're not,
they want change. Yeah. They're like, do we stick with status quo or do we?
And so right now you have a government that has a stain, has a black eye, has crazy inflation. And you know what? GDP is down and we are in a recession. Or at least we will officially be in one here in next week. Or is it this week? When's the GDP numbers come out this week? Right?
So there's 3 different variations. So the very first one is going to be on the 28th, which is in 3 days. And then they revise it 2 more times. They'll revise it at the end of September, then they'll revise it again at the end of October.
Either way, but this week is shaping up for some.
This is going to be a big week.
Yeah. You have the GDP. You have basically we're going to officially call a recession per the GDP. You have the federal interest rates. There's also just a ton of Fortune 500 companies that are going to release their Q2 quarterly reports. And then on top of that, there's some big employment numbers coming out as well. So
Hear me out on something, Rob. Yeah. Could you imagine a scenario where the ultra wealthy, the hedge funds, right? The people that have tons of money, they look at Bitcoin as an asset class that they can essentially manipulate, right? There's a fixed supply. You know, it's teetering right now. People aren't sure if it's a safe investment or not. Is there a scenario where you can see these people saying we can manipulate?
These people?
The ones I just described, the hedge funds.
The hedge funds aren't manipulating Bitcoin.
No. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying, can you imagine? They're sitting there thinking, right? You're a very wealthy person. And you're like, I have this asset class that's got buzz around it, that it's got already a pretty big community of people that are very loyal, that are hodlers. And if I come in and I put $2 billion into it and I make a news and I say, hey, Bitcoin is a great hedge against inflation, you know FOMO is going to kick in and the price of Bitcoin will rise.
Here's the thing. Somebody's going to catch your ass as exit liquidity if you're just trying to manipulate the market. What you want is natural and real sustained growth. As a hedge fund, you don't want to come in, boost up the price $2 billion, because if you, in doing so, somebody's going to exit their position knowing that we're going to have further lows. And
who's going to exit their position, Robin? If all the large
I'm just saying that the whales are doing that. I mean, we get from 40,000 to 20,000 because the whales are exiting because they know the price is going to go down. In the same way that Tesla came in with 1.5 billion and they sold almost all of their Bitcoin, 90% of their Bitcoin that they did sell, they sold at a loss.
And what happened when Tesla announced they were buying Bitcoin? The price shot up, right?
Yeah, the price, that's what started the bull market. But here's the thing, they sold it all at a loss.
No, they made money.
You know, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, whether or not you're a whale or not, if you're going to invest billions of dollars like you're suggesting, then at the base, it doesn't matter what you move the market initially. You're investing in a riskier asset right now. And that's just straight peanut comparison. You have Bitcoin versus
riskier.
You
than
have
what? Riskier to what?
Then U.S. Treasury bonds, then to cash, then to S&P 500. I mean, if you are a hedge fund and you're trying to generate returns for your,
I could argue the S&P 500 right now compared to Bitcoin right now is riskier than Bitcoin. Right now, where the S&P is, where Bitcoin
S&P is not going to shed 40% from its price right now. It won't happen. Now, Bitcoin could easily shed 40%. And so if you are a hedge fund and right now you're already underwater because you're in the red tremendously, it goes against the principles of a successful hedge fund is to take on crazy amount of risk during an extremely volatile period during a recession. If anything, you're trying to mitigate risk. You're trying to just basically hedge your bet and not lose money. Right now, hedge funds are literally trying not to lose a lot of money. That's literally what they're trying to do. They're trying to print big ass red numbers on their profits. And that's what has always happened in recessions. It's not just this one freak incident. Just you look at history of recessions, hedge funds they scale back, they play the safe game. That's why you see that's why you've seen NASDAQ drop, because you're selling riskier assets. And so for an established hedge fund to drop billions of dollars into Bitcoin for the simple fact that, hey, I just want to manipulate the price. Cool. You manipulate the price, it shoots up. But what happens immediately afterwards? It pulls right down. And then how long are you going to keep that position? It's just, for me and you, for a whale, that's a different game. For institutions, for hedge funds, they're not going to be doing. But a whale, absolutely. Right now, he's like, yo, I can pump the market. Right now, we're in a dead count bounce. People are starting to FOMO in. Whatever, You can take a couple $1 million and you can just straight up move the Bitcoin market yourself. Now, you have experience, you have more capital to deploy afterwards. Like that's to be seen. But if you want to move the market as a whale, it's advantageous to you to do that. And that is something that always happens, but it's not being done by hedge funds, in my opinion. So
no, I'm just saying the people with a lot of money, they're always looking to manipulate markets. And what's an easier market?
Yeah, 100%.
What's a better market to manipulate?
I'm just saying the hedge funds, they're not doing it.
I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying if I have a couple, $2, $3, $4, $5 trillion of assets under management, and I'm sitting here, I'm looking at all my options, and I'm like, all right, which one can I sway my way?
But if you're down $1 trillion already, say you're down $500 billion, I just find it so hard to believe that these legacy finances that have been around for 100 years that have this one style of trading that can pretty much be, you can just look at history and be like, okay, this is what they do every time during a recession.
But history's never had something like Bitcoin in it.
Yeah, but there's always been new tech stocks. There's always been riskier stocks. And at the end of the day, Bitcoin is, you compare it to gold, when you compare it to the S&P 500, when you compare it to U.S. Treasury bonds, it is literally riskier. There's no debating that. It's riskier as far as the terms of volatility. And right now, going into a recession, we don't know when we're going to come out of this. And will we come out in a year and a half? Will we come out in 6 months? I think we will. But there's, if you go into this prolonged recession, get worse and worse over the next couple of years. I mean, we're at damn near 10% inflation. What if this gets worse? What if we go into this deep recession, almost depression? Will Bitcoin rise out? I think it would. But at the same time, I could see it taking 5-6 years for Bitcoin and crypto to have a resurgence. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm just saying it could be a possibility. And if me personally, the super crypto guy, thinks that, what about the guy that isn't in crypto, that is managing trillions of dollars and is already underwater? He's not going to take that risk. There's no way.
I don't know.
Anyways, JW. Hola! Welcome to City Crypto.
I'm just saying something that has a finite supply, right? You can't, like with stocks,
the principle is all there. It's a hedge against inflation. But
I'm just saying with stocks, you don't know the company can do a split. They can add more. The share float, it changes. Hard to manipulate, right? And they still do it. And you look at an asset class like Bitcoin, where you see people hang on the most bare of news and say, oh my God, this one got in. And then you have a big company come out and saying, this is a great hedge against inflation. We're keeping our money in. Whether they believe that or not, I'm just saying, to manipulate the Bitcoin market is much easier than to manipulate the stock market. We've seen Elon Musk do it time and time again. I'm just saying, what if it happens on a larger scale? I don't know. I'm not saying it's probable. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying it's just an idea I had. Because if I'm sitting on billions and trillions of dollars and I'm looking at these different asset classes, and nothing you said I'm disagreeing with. I'm not saying Bitcoin's not risky.
Would you agree that if you're sitting on trillions of dollars and you're down in the red, is the last thing you want to do is to pull out $500 billion and go to the casino and put it on roulette, right? Because that would seem irresponsible because you're taking on crazy amount of risk.
I mean, BlackRock's already lost $1.6 trillion of their customers' money just January of this year. $1.6 trillion. I agree with you. I'm just saying, man.
I mean, that's why the volume's down. The volume's so for me, I don't think we're going to get out of this bear market until you get the volume there. Because $60 billion in volume is nothing. You're never gonna be reaching anywhere close to all-time highs until you can get some substantial volume. And that goes for that doesn't even matter if you're talking about crypto. If you want all-time highs in any asset, you want fundamental long-term growth, you need the volume there. And now volume ain't there. And
I want to know what the chat thinks. Okay, do you guys think it's possible that a large hedge fund, whatever the case may be, will try to come in and manipulate Bitcoin, the market of Bitcoin, Put a 1 if you believe they can. Put a 2 if you believe that they can't.
I just think if hedge funds are going to start getting exposure to Bitcoin, they just buy it and put it in a balance sheet. I just see.
That's what you would assume, but you never know, man. Just saying.
Because I mean,
there's degens in the traditional markets, just like there's degens in the crypto markets.
There is. I just think you mitigate risk during these times.
True love.
That's it. True love. Hola! Welcome, City Crypto.
Welcome.
And then just to take a glance at the traditional markets, Nasdaq is down 0.71. Everything else is kind of flat. So I do think
this is very
all eyes on Wednesday. Bro.
This is very odd. This is odd to me because if you go back and look at the last 3 times before the FOMC meeting, we've seen massive drop-offs.
Well, we closed the weekend down at a 1.75% down, so we were already down significantly going into the weekend. And then the futures was shaping up to be we were going to open up at 2% loss on the Nasdaq.
Now we're
coming into Monday,
quarters.
and then we had a little rally. There's been some pretty good reports. Netflix did decent. Oh, you see this? NFL having a new streaming service, $4.99 a month.
Huh.
They include out of market games. So.
I
think the days of you need ESPN and NBC and all this stuff.
And cable.
I think those days.
You don't
are
have
gone.
cable, do you?
I think you're gonna be able to pick and choose what you. No, I don't have cable. I pick and choose what you want to watch. And then that's all I got.
That's all you got. You know, I want to go over a couple of charts real quick before we do our hot take. And the first one I'm going to pull up is the Bitcoin chart. So I love flags. Okay, I love the American flag. I love the Armenian flag. I love whatever.
What
flag.
about flag football?
I hate flag football.
You know they're going to make it
It's a terrible idea. League.
No.
Oh.
What they're doing is they proposed for the next Summer Olympics have flag football.
That's terrible.
How do you feel about that?
Flag football. The whole point of football is tackling. You got to hear that.
But here's the thing:
Shoulder pad, baby.
if you're gonna do 2 weeks, the Olympics is only 2 weeks long. So obviously you can't have a tournament where you'd play more than 2 games with contact. So you would have to go flag football. Otherwise, you'd have to space it out. Like obviously, you can only play so much football and then get back out there again.
Before I go over this chart, will you roll out to TPS, transaction per second?
All right, we got 10 pound in Illy Bob, 10 pound. Hola, welcome to City Crypto.
I like TPS better. On Sterling, TPS, transaction per second.
TPS reports.
TPS report. Wait, what? Anyways, so what we have printing on here on the Bitcoin, this is the 4-hour Bitcoin chart. We have a beautiful, gorgeous, amazing bull flag. We always show bear flags. Well, guess what? We have a bull flag forming here. This is when you see a big rise to the upside followed by a descending channel. Volume has been since the 12th of July. We've seen some spikes here and there, but this is very bullish. And if we do a measured move from the width of this channel here, you can see how far we're going to go. And you're looking at about 23,400. Okay, if we break out of this the way we normally would out of a bull flag, which is to the upside, we should see about $23,400 Bitcoin. And then if I hide these and I throw on my cloud and we kind of see where we are. So right now we're trading inside cloud. So the cloud essentially is areas of resistance and support, but instead of a one line, it's more of an area.
I can't get the fact out of my head, a green cloud. You know what I'm thinking? Your boy straight Chiba up.
Oh, it does look like a joint.
No, not a joint. I'm just saying, a green cloud. I mean,
yeah.
that green, baby.
Yeah.
Legal in Vegas. How you doing?
But the good thing is this cloud is still green, but we want to see the blue line flip above the red line. And I'm not going to get into details of what exactly it is. Just know these are 2 moving averages. This is a lagging indicator.
What are the moving averages on those?
So blue is a conversion line. It is a 9-day simple moving average, and the red is it's called a baseline. It is a 26-day moving average.
So 9 and 26.
You want to see the 9-day flip over. You want to see the price move above the cloud, and you want to see this lagging indicator, this green line. You want to see it above the price. Once we see that, I know it's a lot to happen at once, but once you see that, you're pretty sure we're in an uptrend. If we circle back, if we look back here where we crossed and we're above the cloud, I mean, we went right here. We went all the way we saw a move of about 17% on Bitcoin. So bullish in the short term, long term is different. Obviously, there's a lot happening this week, so keep your eye on that. But if you're looking, figuring out if you should stay in Bitcoin and wait to go higher to take some profit, probabilities, okay? This is not financial advice, but probabilities, according to our technical analysis, says that we should see a move up to $23,300 range on Bitcoin. You want to take that risk, wait to ladder out there, feel free to do so. Again, not financial advice. Last thing I want to take a look at is Ethereum. We saw this bear flag, but we broke to the other side. So these don't always play out the way you expected or the way the probabilities tell. And here's a perfect example. So on this one, we should have broke to the downside. What happened was instead, we broke to the upside, created support on this trend line here, which is roughly, was started at about $1,437 and is rising. And now we see another ascending channel, which again, should break to the downside. But with Ethereum, the merge, I would put less weight on patterns and technical analysis because you have factors like the merge who could just throw TA out. TA won't matter. The merge is happening. People are FOMOing in. We're bouncing out. But in the short term, if you're looking at some targets, I would be looking at $1,438 as far as getting in. And then the next one I look at is $1,278. By the way, this is Crypto Stackers Pro. If you like charting and doing TA, the link is in the description of this video. That's all I got for TA. That's all we have for Market Watch. So with that being said, let us move on to the very next segment of our show, which is our hot take.
It's hot.
All right. So let's pull up my laptop. So there's a few things that I go over, and I'm going to set the stage, and then I'm going to propose the hot take question, okay? So there was news over the week that Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX / Alameda Research put in a bid to buy Voyager assets, and essentially to give access to the people who have money locked on Voyager immediately. To have access to the cash immediately, and we're going to go over what Voyager said, what SBF said, and we're going to talk about whether it's a good deal or not. So crypto giant FTX reveals proposal for customers of Voyager to cash out early. According to a new press release, crypto exchange giant FTX is revealing a plan that would provide customers of troubled Voyager the opportunity to cash out early. There's a quote, customers of Voyager would have the opportunity to start a new account with FTX with an opening cash balance funded by an early distribution on a portion of their bankruptcy claims. So essentially, they're going to be fronting the money from the bankruptcy claims. Customers would be able to withdraw their cash immediately or use it to purchase digital assets on the FTX platform. They go on to say, the goal of our joint proposal is to help establish a better way to resolve an insolvent crypto business, a way that allows customers to obtain early liquidity and reclaim a portion of their assets without forcing them to speculate on bankruptcy outcomes and take one-sided risks. Here's what Voyager had to say. They're saying this is a terrible proposal. No customer will be made whole under the proposal, nor will any crypto be returned to customers. And here are some of their reasons they think it's terrible. First, the way in which the proposal has made Chill's bidding was made Chill's bidding and undermines efforts to maximize value. So the idea is in bankruptcy, you have an open forum where you have different companies or different people who want to buy your assets. They have a forum to bid on. What they're saying is this proposal goes against that. And so obviously when you have competition and multiple bids, the judge can look at all the bids and say, this is the one that's best for the customers. They're saying it negates that. Second, they're talking about the cover letter of the proposal that suggests that Alameda believes customers' claims based on the crypto investments are capped at the US dollar value as of July 5th. Third, the proposal requires, thank you, Rocco. The proposal requires converting and paying crypto claims in US dollars, but it ignores the tax consequences of the transaction. Customers may have to pay capital gains or other tax on distributions, diluting their recovery. Fourth, this thought I was hilarious. This one thought it was funny. The proposal would effectively eliminate the VGX token, which Voyager believes would destroy in excess of $100 million in value immediately. Fifth, the proposal declares that there is no value in the Voyager platform. And sixth, the proposal burdens Voyager and its customers with both migration and wind down expenses. Okay, then we go to Sam Bankman-Fried on Twitter. It kind of sets it up, and he talks about what they plan on doing. And he says, let's say Voyager has 75% of assets remaining. And he says he doesn't know if this is true. Seems like the first thing that should happen is customers get back to 75%. And then later, if anything from 3AC is recovered, they get some of that too. But that hasn't happened. Why? The traditional process is that before customers get their assets back, they get effed. First, there's a long drawn-out process, which is frozen. And he refers to Mt. Gox. That process is still ongoing 7-8 years later. Meanwhile, the entire time, various bankruptcy agents are slowly bleeding the customers' frozen assets dry with consulting fees. We know this to be true. Chapter 11 bankruptcy is, I believe, the most expensive form of bankruptcy to file because of the lawyer fees. And so it gives an example. See, if a customer had one Bitcoin on the platform and Bitcoin was worth 30K, and then it takes years to go through bankruptcy, what do they get back? They get back one Bitcoin or they get back $30,000? Probably whichever is worth less. So he's saying the longer the process drags out, the more optionality customers lose. So essentially he's saying, we're going to buy the assets at a discount, but we will give people access to their cash immediately. And if they want to stay long on crypto, which is what Voyager is talking about, they can do that too. So with that being said, Robin, is this a deal Voyager? Is this a good deal for Voyager? Or is Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, is this a media ploy? Is it too predatory? You want to go first?
Sure. So first of all, you have FTX. They're basically just trying to buy the customer
accounts.
Yeah, they just want to buy the data. So all the KYC that you signed up with,
cryptocurrencies as well.
Yeah, the cryptos that they have on their platform at discount. But essentially, more than anything, if they end up going through this process, essentially, FTX is only acquiring Voyager for the customers. Because if they, tokens, sure, that's probably a bonus. But it's all about the accounts. Now, I don't really think, and I think at face value, you have FTX making a case for why this is favorable for the consumer or the customer. I think all the unsecured creditors, all the people that were using the platform just had tokens on there. My personal opinion, and I hope I'm wrong, I think everyone's screwed. You're not going to get anything.
If it proceeds through the entire bankruptcy process.
I don't think either way. And I know FTX is saying something different. I get that, and I'm not saying I'm ignoring it. But my personal opinion, I've seen over in crypto space time after time after time when there's an exploit, a hack. More times than not, there are exceptions, but more times than not, the case is retail. You don't get no money back, and you're pretty much out back. And when you do, the process of returning cash is so jumbled up, and the process is so muddied that by the time you finish, was it even worth it to spend all that time to get back a couple $100, pennies on the dollar? And so I feel for the user, because I think they're the ones getting screwed. Now, as far as Voyager is concerned, everything they said, they're delusional. Their their VGX token ain't worth crap. It ain't ever going to be worth anything because Voyager's done. So if Voyager's done and their token's going to be gone with it. Here's the thing. If for some reason Binance closed down and had insolvency issues and they were going through litigation and bankruptcy, the BNB token will be done. It would be absolutely 100% impossible, but realistically, the BNB token would be done. Same thing can be said with crypto.com. Same thing can be said. It's just
KuCoin,
yeah,
FTX.
If your exchange is done, it's done. And so this premise behind, hey, we're going to send you some VGX. Nobody wants that trash.
But that's the thing that Voyager, they're like, I mean, what it says.
But here's the thing. It does have some value right now. Now, whether or not it's,
Robin,
it's
when
realistic.
everyone gets their VGX token as part of
But
their
what
thing,
I'm
what's
saying,
going to happen?
what
to the
I'm saying is
price?
that Voyager could sell some of their tokens. If someone owned a VGX token that wasn't locked up on their exchange, they could sell it. There is a marketplace for it. So it does actually have some bit of value. So I'm not saying that Voyager is spitting lies. Everything they said has legitimacy to it. But realistically, stop being delusional, man. Your product is gone. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, nobody's getting their money back. That it ain't gonna happen. What's gonna happen is you go through bankruptcy, and it is just time and time. And again, this has happened. You go through bankruptcy, and then there's tons of lawyers' fees, tons of litigation fees. There's all kinds of stuff, and then the people that have contracts, that have debt, creditors, there's gonna be a lump of money, a lump of cash, big sum of money, and lawyers gonna take it. Litigation, courts, fees, all that. They're gonna take their cut.
Going to be the employees
And
and the preferred unsecured creditors.
And then at the very bottom is going to be the retail investor. And I'm sorry, man, that ain't you ain't getting nothing.
Rocco, pull up.
Now, maybe now I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but maybe there's a small chance FTX buys it up and they make good on their promises and they let all the users use it. But even if FTX does it, it ain't gonna happen, bro.
Here's the order, guys. If any money is raised after bankruptcy is filed, those people will get paid back first, followed by, and this is not including lawyer fees or court fees, then secured creditors, then undersecured creditors, and then priority undersecured creditors, which would be the employees, and then non-priority unsecured creditors, which is you
and you
anyone that has money
you
on
can't
Voyager.
argue with this stuff, man.
No, it is law.
Yeah,
It's literally law.
It's not even up for debate. And so, and there was talks of Voyager being down billions and billions of dollars. They were in the hole, like I think $3 or something like that. And so, if they were down that much money, how much money do you think they're going to be down after all of this? Even more. And so, enough money to go around. And so, if the pecking order is lawyers and institutions and secured debt, if that's the pecking order, that's what it is, man. Ain't nobody getting their money back. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, so
I don't wish that upon anybody.
Okay, and I understand Voyager has already declined the offer, but should they have taken it, or was this a bad offer?
I don't know what they should have done. I mean, I'm not in those boardrooms. I don't know how underwater they are. I don't know. I don't know what their options. I'm just saying. Here's the thing. They mismanaged money, and now.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Robin.
I don't think there's a good scenario for
Okay, let me ask you this question. They said the reason they declined this offer is because it would harm their customers more than it would help them. It would harm them more than what they're doing with bankruptcy. Do you believe that to be true?
I believe that's a PR statement.
Okay.
And I think that at the end of the day, they're probably looking for maybe a higher bidder. I think they just wiped this under the rug because they would like somebody else to come in over top of FTX and propose more. I think that there are probably other ways they can squeeze cash out of it and drag this out. And so right now, just straight, how much was it they were trying to get for money from FTX? What was the original offer? It was
like the loan they were trying to get?
No, just the FTX offer to buy them up. I think it was pretty cheap. It was like $15 million or something.
I'm not sure.
$150 million.
But essentially,
and yeah, so I was looking over it. So the proposal itself, the amount of money that's supposed to go to the purchase was pretty low. Basically, FTX came in and was like, "Hey, give you $5 for your platform." You know what I mean? Like I don't have the numbers. I'll look it up when I get a moment.
So that what they're essentially asking for is they're saying we'll buy everything you have right now. Okay, you have X amount of Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever coins you have locked up, frozen, right? Whatever cash you have, stable coins you have, we'll buy those from you, and we'll put it on our platform. And the people that have accounts, the people that those belong to, they can come to FTX. They can cash it out immediately and take it out, or they can leave it in there.
You believe that though? That's what I'm saying.
But that's what we know. That's
I
the
know
information
that.
we have.
I know that's the. But do you believe? I don't believe that, man. Why would you buy somebody else's debt and then let them run the assets out?
Because
okay, here's the thing: if you're gonna buy somebody's platform for say $15 million or whatever the price is, I don't know. I think it's 15 million, man. I'm telling you, it's something dirt cheap. And so if you're going to go in and buy this at super discount, as a business, it would literally make no sense to buy it for one price and then have the customers remove more than what you bought it for. I'm just saying that that's literally like against business logic. Like, you know what I mean? It'd be like me buying your car that costs $30,000 and be like, hey, here, I'll buy it for $20,000, and then it gets repoed and I owe $25,000.
They're acquiring customers. We don't know what their withdrawal. I don't know what their withdrawal fees are. I don't really use FTX. We don't know what their withdrawal fees are. They're acquiring customers. They're acquiring cryptocurrency assets. Maybe this they just have so much cash and liquidity, they're willing to buy those cryptocurrencies at essentially discounted to what they were a few months ago or whatever the case may be. And they have enough cash to cash people out if they want it. But I'm sure they're going through the numbers. They're like saying, okay, maybe half the people will decide to keep on since their crypto is now on a more trusted platform like FTX. And people aren't going to freak out and say, oh, I could have waited 8 years for bankruptcy to get my cash. Just having the option of you can take it out whenever you want, but you can also stay long. They're probably betting a lot of people are going to want to stay long on crypto, knowing they can just take it out whenever they want. And the allure of, hey, all your Bitcoin is now with FTX. And if you let it sit there, because we're coming up on the halving, we're coming up, on a short relief rally, then you'll keep it on there because now you don't have to worry about bankruptcy or FTX going under, whatever the case may be. So to them, it's a cost of acquiring customers, right? Every business has a customer acquisition cost. And to them, it might be worth it. They might be in a position where it's worth it. Also, you cannot underestimate the PR move. This guy would literally be the savior of hundreds of thousands of people's money. And that could be worth more than the amount of money they would pay to get those assets from Voyager. And, and Sam brings up a good point. I'm not saying everything Sam does or says is right. I'm looking at the information I have, what's being said, and who do I think is right. If I was a Voyager customer, I would want the option to have my money sent to FTX where I can either pull it out immediately. Yes, I'm still not going to get 100% of my money back.
Obviously, as a Voyager customer, you'd like your fastest and most, you would like the peace of mind of withdrawing your cash. Obviously. And at face value, yes, that's what everyone wants. If you have money on Voyager and you're asked, hey, would you like somebody to buy your debt and let you remove it? Like, hell yeah. It's an obvious no-brainer. I'm just saying, from a business aspect, I don't see it. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
you don't know the
saying,
financials of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried.
I'm not saying there's no chance of it happening. I'm just saying
it's not going to happen because they already declined the offer. I'm just saying, did they make a mistake? Did Voyager make a mistake?
From the outside looking in, I don't think that was going to happen anyways. My personal opinion. I know that's what he said. I think you know what? The deal got turned down. Sam Bankman-Fried was like, hey, we could have saved all y'all. They turned it down. I don't know, man. I think this dude is full of hot gas, man. I'm telling you.
You think Sam Bankman-Fried is full of hot gas?
Yes, man. It's funny. It's funny that one of the second biggest creditor for Voyager, the company that went under because they didn't have enough money, the second biggest creditor was to Sam Bankman-Fried. And you know what? He didn't repay his loan. And he could have helped them out, and instead he offered them a line of credit to make more money off of them. So I mean, if anything, Sam Bankman-Fried is also a contributing factor to the collapse of Voyager. And now he's going to come up and be like, "Hey, I could have saved you guys." Well, you could have saved them by freaking first of all paying back your debt to Voyager. That could have been the first start. The second start was instead of offering a line of credit, trying to bail them out from the first place and not giving them a small little fishing line while holding a big ass debt over their head.
That's where the business comes in, because if you know they're going to go under,
exactly the business, they weren't going to. They never
Robin,
planned.
I'm not disagreeing with you that I'm not saying out of the kindness of his heart he made this offer. I'm just saying, he's looking at it, the software, what can my platform gain from it? People will love me. People think we have enough money.
And I agree. I'm just saying.
I
agree. I agree with everything you say. And everything you're saying makes sense. I'm just saying that I know business people, and this dude, I'm telling you, he's a pretender, bro. He's trying to be the PR guy.
He's a businessman, bro.
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, exactly.
And if his business dealing can help people out, then so fucking be it. But what pisses me off is Voyager comes out and says this would harm customers. Well, what plan do you have to drag out bankruptcy until the lawyers and the court fees bleed out everything you have? Do you pay all the secured debtors back and your customers are left with nothing? Oh, well, when 3 Arrows Capital pays us back, which is never, you guys will get some of that money back. BS, man. BS. I know Sam Bankman-Fried is not doing this out of the kindness of his heart. Okay, and I'm not disagreeing that the man is a shark, okay? But situation A, situation B, what's better for the customer? And Voyager coming out and the list of things they have as to why it's a bad deal. It would effectively eliminate the VGX token. Dude, your VGX token is dead. It is dead.
Got 30 minutes left.
Hey, bro, do I cut you off when you were making a dumbass point or you were sharing your stupid stuff? Saying there's 30 minutes left? No, I don't. Let me have my time. Anyways, I'm getting off the Wi-Fi. All right, I was done anyways, but don't cut me off again or I'm going to cut something else off. All right, Rocco.
Talking boy.
Talking points.
All right.
Look, if I'm dragging on and we run out of time, you can cut me off anytime you want, bro.
Hey, the content's good, man. If we go 10 minutes over, I don't think it really matters. All right. So we talked about it in the beginning of the show. All the money that was sold off by institutions. Well, here you go. 236,000 Bitcoin, not dollars, coins, was sold by large institutions since Terra's implosion in May. Massive institutional blowups in the past 2 months started from Terra's collapse on May 10th, when Do Kwon sold over 80,000 Bitcoin to defend the UST peg. Since then, the contagion has spread quickly across the industry and deepened the selling pressure, leading to over 236,000 Bitcoin being sold by large institutions. Also, publicly traded miners were pressured to offload their Bitcoin holdings, selling a total of 4,456 Bitcoin. So, Robin, is the pain over? I mean, you see the wallets that hold over 1,000 Bitcoin, it's been declining. So, is it safe to say large wallets have already capitulated and we've probably already made a bottom?
I know everyone always points to this metric. I've never been a believer in this metric because I think as this ecosystem grows, I think people just, and as the value of Bitcoin goes up over time, people, if you're just smart, you're not going to keep all your money in one wallet. I think it's just fundamental. We talk about it all the time. If you have billions and billions of dollars or millions and millions of dollars or thousands of Bitcoin, it would be irresponsible for you to keep it on one storage device. So as in the past, you could have looked, well, this wallet used to, the number of wallets that had multiple Bitcoin, but it was a different time in the past when you look at these metrics. When Bitcoin is worth $100 or $500, it wasn't that big a deal to keep 5 Bitcoin on a wallet. At this point, you might, anytime you get over 5 Bitcoin, it's probably a good idea to keep it in another wallet. And so for me, this metric, I just think it's always, no matter what happens with crypto, no matter if the price keeps going down, whether it keeps going up, I just think over time, people will diversify their holdings to not be at one point of failure. I think that's just normal strategy when it comes to cryptocurrency. And so I don't take much from this. I take the biggest pull is from volume and where we're at on the macroeconomics as far as the world's economy. And so if we're in a recession, Bitcoin ain't coming out of that thing. Not pumping and while everything else is dumping. Now maybe it'll break correlation and it'll head up higher a little bit, but I don't see it, man. So for me, I think this is all just natural movement in Bitcoin. And yes, I think Elon Musk was a big part of this. Is that number part of that?
Yeah. This is since May.
So yeah, Elon Musk. Obviously, I think a lot of institutions did buy Bitcoin and FOMO, and people.
The Luna Foundation Guard.
Institutions FOMO too. It's not
Luna-
not just people.
Luna Foundation Guard at 80,000 Bitcoin. We know that got liquidated.
Yeah.
There was and then here's the thing: the Mount Gox Bitcoin, whenever that hits the wallets, that's a significant amount of Bitcoin too to be liquidated. But I think a majority of the pain is over, in my opinion. And the more we get through, the more I believe the bottom's already in. I'm like 70-30 right now that the bottom is already in. So I could be wrong.
I think the bottom is not in my opinion. I mean, I could see the case for it being in, but I'm telling you, man, the global economy, the food prices are out of control. Inflation is out of control. The supply chain is still backed up. You have this energy crisis. You still got the thing in Ukraine going on, you know, the conflict. And there's the only positive coming out of the global economy is employment. And it also just happens to coincide with the Great Resignation, where basically all of the baby boomers, the largest pump in American population, was reaching retirement age. And tons of people went into COVID/pandemic time and they just were like, you know what?
It never came back.
I'm not going to come back to work. And so you had the largest workforce retire. But it doesn't take away, outside of that, everything else is screaming. Lower lows, everything. And the only people that are saying that the otherwise are content creators, news channels, and politicians. But all the experts, all the metrics, if you just look at it, I mean, there's going to be more layoffs. There's less money in our economic system. There's less movement of money. There's less spending. And people are paying more money for rent, car, gas than anything else. And so there's less money to take vacations, to go buy furniture, to go buy a new house. Like, there's just not as much spending right now. And it's going to get worse. And so for me, globally,
but here's the other side. Here, okay, let me let me play devil's advocate here. You're saying a lot of these boomers, right? They went into the lockdown, they never came back. So there's a bunch more job openings, right?
Yeah.
Can you say that if we go into a recession and prices high, people have the opportunity to maybe get a second job, whereas in a traditional recession, they wouldn't have that opportunity because there's such a void that needs to be filled?
I mean, well, it doesn't change what's going. Here's the thing. If you're getting a second job, you're just getting a second job so you can pay the mortgage.
Versus not being able to pay the mortgage.
I don't think people are getting
and
a
let
second,
your house go.
But I don't think people are getting a second job so they can go spend more money in the economy, like as far as like vacations and leisure and and goods. I just think people are trying to survive. And so now you're moving in with other people, you're getting roommates, you're getting a second job just so that way you can make your $900 car payment and your $2,500 mortgage payment, or your $1,800 apartment payment. Or now instead of paying $50 for you're paying $100. I think that's why people are getting a second job. And I think I think it's gonna get worse. And I think when people, the only thing the government has to point at right now is like, well, look at the job market. There's not a lot of unemployment. Well, you know what? A lot of people retired. Now, could I be wrong? Probably.
I know my father-in-law retired because of COVID. He got some time off.
My dad retired too.
Yeah. So,
and it's just like, you know, a lot of people got a taste of what it's like to unplug from the grind and the work. And, you know, at the end of the day, the people that are in the working age, and you know what, they ain't not working. They're not gonna just quit working. You still gotta pay bills. You know, all you're doing is switching careers. That's what happened. We had a lot of shuffling. And so some people, you know, got time off and like, you know what? I want to go be a real estate agent.
Right.
I want to go, you know, be a barber or, you know, do nails or whatever it is. And so a lot of people had this aha moment where they felt empowered to go do something that they had more passion in doing instead of going into a 9-to-5 they don't like. So we're seeing a big shuffle,
especially with the with all the stimulus checks that went out. People have a lot of disposable.
Yeah, you basically got a lifeline, so you didn't sink, and it gave you time to sit there and think and watch YouTube, and then in YouTube you got to look at the subject matters that most impacted you, that you were most interested in, and whether it could have been like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna watch a bunch of cooking shows. The next thing you know, you want to go be a chef, and then you're out there, going to culinary school, and or you can do that with any field. And the same thing, real estate was something that, because it was booming, a lot of people were like, hey, I was out, I want to get to this industry. I think it's a great industry. There's obviously a lot of money to be made. A lot of people went out and got their real estate license. And so you're seeing a shuffle in the professions, but I just think recession is here. So bottom, I think we got lower lows in the world economy. And I don't see Bitcoin breaking the fray on that. So,
and here's the thing you got to remember too. Is the baby boomer generation, and I'll end this topic on this, but the baby boomer generation, it's in the tens, not tens, but 10, 11, 12 dollars of money that they have, whether it's in investments, pension, retirement, whatever the case may be, that once they are gone, that money will be passed down to the next generation, which is our generation, right? And when I say our, I mean the late millennials, 30s, 40s, 50s.
and transfer wealth.
Transfer of wealth, the biggest transfer ever. And you got to think, people in our age demographic, right, between age 28 and 45, 50 years old, we don't look at investing the same as the baby boomers do, as our parents did, right? We look at what's new, and digital assets will be one of those areas that we look at. So let's move on. So this was a pretty cool article, Unpacking Uniswap's Fee Switch, okay? So Uniswap is there's a small piece of code they're introducing called the fee switch. And here's how it works. Right now, it costs about 0.3% to trade tokens on Uniswap. Of that small percentage, the entire amount goes to liquidity providers for that specific trade. But if this fee switch, called a protocol charge by Uniswap, were flipped on, a quarter of that would go to LPs, and the remaining 0.05 would theoretically go to Uniswap token holders just for holding the token. Look at it as, should I say, a dividend? It's still unclear, however, exactly how they would capture this value. Example, as a yield on their staking, more airdrops, or something. Importantly, this fee could be activated by a governance vote. If enough Uniswap token holders want to flip the switch, they can. Over the past month, Uniswap has played host to between $37 and $130 million in daily volume. So do the math. If this fee were to be switched on 0.05%, that would go token holders. So on 130 million, you would have $600,000 every single day that will go to token holders. Now, there is some worry that if the liquidity providers get their fees cut, even if it's even if it's half of a tenth of a percent, they're saying, well, if that money's not going to them, they just might not put up the liquidity, and now you have a bigger issue at hand. So, Robin, this fee switch, is this a good idea or is this a bad idea? Are you more bullish on Uniswap because of this, or what's your thought?
I don't know, man. I think it's
a bad idea.
I think it's pretty irrelevant.
I don't think
it's gonna change because the liquidity providers, where else are they gonna go? So if they change the business model,
Sushi Swap.
No, I know there's competition. I'm just saying this is the number one DEX. This is the one that has the most volume. This is the one that people make the most money. And unfortunately, if they change it slightly, they just happen to tweak something in there, I don't see a mass exodus of the liquidity providers. And if it doesn't fundamentally change the structure that it is now as far as fees that the user is paying, then I don't really see it. I think it's pretty insignificant.
If you were not holding any Uni token, would this make you want to go out and buy some?
No. I said, I don't think this is a big change. I think this is a blip on the radar.
How is this not a big change? You're literally paying token holders money every single day from transactions on the biggest DEX in the world, right?
Yeah.
So how is that not a big change?
I don't see people making that much money on it, bro.
That remains to be seen. I disagree. All right. Here's another super cool article. This luxury residential crypto building will have a Bitcoin mining farm in the basement. A new luxury residential development being built in Belgrano, which is a prestigious neighborhood in Argentina's Buenos Aires, calls itself a crypto building since a Bitcoin mining farm installed in the basement will help the owners with paying the building's expenses. One of the many interesting features of the building is that access to each building represents an architectural canvas artistically intervened through digital art, aka NFTs. As for the Bitcoin mining farm in the basement, here's what the developers have to say. 0 expenses, and they'll be declared monthly income. Income distribution according to the ownership percentage of each functional unit. Infrastructure powered by renewable energy through solar panels, mitigating additional costs. And reuse of the heat generated by the mining through ducts to heat the common areas. And the firm is well aware of Bitcoin's volatility, saying to deal with this, the plan is to calculate an average price for Bitcoin over the last 12 months and use that average price to scale the mining farm in a way that theoretically will allow the mining operations to cover 100% of the costs of the building expenses. Very similar here in Nevada. I don't know if they do it in any other state, where NV Power allows you to essentially, they look at the last 12 months of your billing on your power, and they average it out, and you pay that same amount every month, whether you see in the summer where the bills are $300-400, you still pay the same amount, but also when it would be lower, you would still pay the same amount. The best case scenario is that Bitcoin's price rises to values that produces a surplus, which could then be distributed among the residents, essentially paying them for living in it. Robin, I don't have a specific question, but what are your thoughts? Is this something that could be implemented in the future? Like not just here, but anywhere?
I mean, it sounds good on paper. I mean, it sounds like a good proposal. I would assume that it would probably not work.
Why?
Just because of the sheer size and scale of the Bitcoin mining farms. And I think that in the future, you're going to get more and more public companies and bigger and bigger operations. And when you go to these mining farms, I mean, they're in giant warehouses. And so as these miners keep popping up, I just find it harder and harder to compete with limited space. And it seems like it's in the basement, right?
Correct.
I mean, I say it sounds good. I just find it hard to believe that they could. I
mean, here's. I mean, you kind of get a glimpse of the size. You pull up my laptop, Rocco. You can kind of, and let me.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it could work.
I mean, it's not a small building, right?
And are these like apartments, right?
These are like condos.
And then at the very bottom is
at the very bottom basement level. But here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing that intrigues me. The heat from the miner generator, right, from the ASICs, they'd feed it through the ducts to heat the common areas. So you're saving money and power that way. Renewable energy through solar panels, right?
So that was the first thing I was saying, is that they can use that. Because my next door neighbor, mine's Ethereum, and he's got a ton of graphic cards, and he doesn't use his heat in the winter. He just uses the mining cards, and so. I've always been aware, and I've always thought of, hey, you know what? Why not use that extra heat that's generated from mining, put it to use? And so, what's a better place than you're living in common areas?
What you do with the heat in the summer? That's the problem I have.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny you say that, because I walk last night I was walking my dog, and all I hear is fans, and my next door neighbor is just and I look over, and he's got like 3 fans propped into his window, just pumping air out. And I'm like, man, how much energy is he using, man, to cool the house? Like, how hard is the AC like working just to keep himself? Because he was telling me he couldn't keep the house under 80 degrees. He was just like, I can't keep the house under 80 degrees,
especially in the summer. Right.
That's what I'm saying. With the AC at blast.
But it's a smart thing they build it underground, because if you build like
then the heat rises, and then you can air duct it wherever you want.
Not only that, but if you even build underground, it's cooler.
I think it's kind of gimmicky, but I mean, it could work, I guess. I
Future.
I wouldn't shut down that concept, but I'm just thinking about competition and space is king. And how much, and if this is a residential area, how cheap is electricity? Because ideally, you would want the cheapest electricity out there, and the cheapest
They plan
electricity
on doing, renewable energy,
the cheapest
solar panels.
electricity in the world is usually in remote areas, basically. Like you look in northern hemisphere, up where nobody lives is where a lot of you have excess energy. And so
I
don't
love
know.
this idea. I think the more people think outside the box, and even though this idea might not cement itself and might not work, but maybe a better idea will come out of this idea. And then eventually you'll get something that works and something that's great. So very bullish. All right. Former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal says crypto markets on verge of reversal based on one macro metric, and that is the M2 money supply. Raoul Pal says crypto markets are mostly driven by liquidity that comes from the M2 money supply. And he says, quote, crypto isn't driven by the business cycle, but it is driven by global liquidity. So it's the rate of change of M2 and how far away it is from the trend. So what you're doing, you put more liquidity into the markets. It leads to more people able to allocate capital to a low supply environment, which is the halving. You don't need the halving as a necessary precursor. So he's saying Bitcoin cycles don't matter. Halving cycles don't matter. It's all about the M2 money supply. It's all about liquidity. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think I've been kind of obviously. I think the global economy, as far as are people spending money, are we in a recession? How's GDP? But then more importantly is, well, how do we get into this mess as far as inflation and this problem where we're at? It was from printing, which is essentially the money supply, the M2. And so, yeah, 100%.
I'm 50-50 on this. I think in the early years of Bitcoin, when it's still just, people call it a casino, right? Yes, it matters more. But I think as Bitcoin and the crypto space matures, you don't need excess liquidity to pump the market of Bitcoin, because people's perception of Bitcoin naturally changes over time as it cements itself on a foundation that it's not going anywhere. I don't think I've heard Bitcoin is going to zero like on a mass level that I have in the past. This cycle, rarely. It's more like, when is it going to come back? How low is it going to go versus, man, it's going to zero, Bitcoin's dead. So, and I think as Bitcoin and the space matures, you will hear less of that Bitcoin going to zero and dead and more of, hey, this is something you need in your portfolio. This is something you need to hedge. This is digital gold. And M2 supply and excessive liquidity won't matter, because that's not what's going to drive the adoption and the market of Bitcoin. So, because the money's already there, it's just going to have to get reallocated. All right. Let's get into the last segment of our show, which is our NFT. All right, so before I get in, I saw a couple questions about, so if you recently joined as a member, you have a separate set of videos that you can watch, just some behind the scenes stuff. We did, Robin did one, a day in the life of Robin overcooking the steak. I did one. And then Rocco, people want to know, will you be doing one? A day in the life of Don Rocco.
Yes.
He will.
They
Okay.
can watch me cooking the pasta with the steam from the...
We want to watch how you drink your espresso.
Really?
What kind of pastries you eat with it.
Okay.
All right. So
when I'm out of here, I'm going to go straight to my bakery shop. I'm going to show you what I got.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. You do what you got to do. We want to see a day in the life of Rocco. So
All
that
right.
is coming, my
That's it.
friends.
It's coming.
All right. Let's get into some NFT news here. Sports fans are ready to move beyond the hype and make NFT investments, one survey reports. The research by the National Research Group on July 23rd found that 64% of sports fans are interested in finding out more about NFTs and would consider buying at least one in the future. Compared to other customers, sports enthusiasts are more knowledgeable about NFTs, are more likely to have favorable opinions about the NFT marketplace. Out of that poll, 84% think there should be more restrictions on NFT trading than there are now. 46% of fans claim they would be more likely to attend live athletic events if given a commemorative NFT. So, Robin, you want to add anything else to this article? I just thought it was kind of interesting. Sports fans, you know, why do you think there's a correlation between, you know, sports fans, NFTs versus...
Well, sports fans are known for their memorabilia.
Collecting cards.
Yeah, they're I think that kind of goes hand in hand. So sports fans, collectibles, it's... you know, everybody has a fan. Everybody has a friend that's a super big fan. And you go in their house and they got like all those like jerseys on the walls and football helmets or soccer balls, signed stuff. So I think the mentality of an NFT degen pretty similar to a sports. I think there's a lot of parallels that can be drawn there. So
I love it. I think NFTs definitely have a place in sports, but just in an overall general area, just in anything, NFTs can have a space. The technology is amazing. It's not just a JPEG. It's not right click and saving. I mean, you have countries and civilizations that have gone through mass genocide that if they had NFT capabilities back then, they could preserve their history of their people, of their country. And you see that happening in Ukraine. And we've seen other countries talk about it too. And so, but as far as the sports thing, I agree with Robin. You have people who are already used to spending exorbitant amounts of money on a signed basketball, a helmet, a jersey, whatever the case may be. And if they can wrap their minds around it being digital, I think it'll drive the NFT space even further. All right. Decentraland comes alive with its first official wedding. Wedding bells rang far and wide as Decentraland hosted its first official wedding in the metaverse, seeing two jubilant folk tie the knot as they embarked on the next leg of their epic journey through life. Would you like to see the wedding? Would you like to see a part of the wedding?
of course.
And I'm going to mute it because I don't want to be... But here you have bride and groom running through the metaverse, running side by side. And this is a 1:40 video. I'm just going to scroll forward a little bit. What are your, like... You think this is like cornball? Do you think this is stupid?
I mean, is it any more corny than the Star Wars weddings? Or, you know, here in
Or
Vegas,
the Elvis weddings?
you know, here in Vegas, we have a Taco Bell chapel. Or no. We have the Taco Bell cantina, and in Arizona, they have the chapel. Sorry.
Right.
So it's in Palm Springs, Arizona. They have a Taco Bell chapel.
But
so you can get married. Let me see if I can.
There used to be one on Fremont Street, right? Also, the Wendy. There was Wendy. No, it was Denny's. No, right?
Denny's.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Hey, have yourself a Denny's wedding.
Fremont.
Like,
Yeah, here, look at my laptop real quick.
So this is them in real life.
Look at this, a marriage on the menu. And so here's what you get. You get a wedding swag. You get a reception area full of tacos.
And is that Pepto-Bismol?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Look, like
Swap over to...
I'm never. I'm never like, to me, what people do in their homes and in their lives, as long as it's not affecting me or not hurting people, I don't really care. But like, if I had to give an opinion on this,
It looks cheesy, but I'm telling you, people like cheesy.
Hey,
That's
yeah,
like,
you know-
that's a thing. And you know what?
I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
If you met your bride to be in the metaverse, and that's where you originally met, and that's where you hang out and spend time, why not? You know,
That's fun. I know the Elvis thing. It's
it
fun.
looks corny.
It
You
is
know what?
fun,
I'm
though.
still not the biggest fan of Decentraland. I think it's due for
The
a
whole
much needed
space needs a do.
graphic update.
They all do, man.
I think integration with the VR headset, but for where it is now, I think it's good.
We
It's
should
fun.
come out with a chapel where you can get married and paint on Dodge.
Dogecoin.
Right here in Vegas.
And then,
Like I said,
taking a look at, I did find one project
NFT.
kind of pumping. It's kind of unique, something interesting.
Potatoes.
The Potatoes by Meme Land. So Meme Land, they have different products here, but
Wait, Meme Land. I think am I in their Discord? I think I was trying to get a whitelist on that thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of different projects. Anyways, they have they're known for the
I am.
F the roadmap idea here. And
I mean,
then,
let's be real. How many NFT projects follow through on their initial roadmap?
you know what?
bro?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's good to be like we're upfront instead of making a fake roadmap and being like,
okay.
yeah, just like, hey man,
We're
look,
all
we're gonna make this art. We're gonna make it as cool as possible. We're gonna
And,
give you
and see
utility.
where the community
Yeah,
takes you.
exactly. And then this is the potato thing. So this is their evolution chart. Start as a seed, and then you grow into a plant, and then you get your NFT afterwards. So you grow into the potato. And so this is where they're at now. They're in this stage. So you can buy this, and then you can watch it flower into a full size NFT.
So would you consider that a utility? Watching it grow from this
No,
to
it kind of has that like Tamagotchi feel to it. You know
I don't know
that.
what the hell that is.
Security. Because
I've
then
heard
it
of
becomes a
Tamagotchis,
potato,
but I-
No,
you can
it's
sell it.
you've played like those like raise a pet things.
I think Gary Gans is going to say this is security.
It's
So-
security because the potatoes, then you're gonna eat it and then you can resell it.
so.
Rocco.
Like definitely a commodity. Potatoes
Yeah,
are commodities.
potatoes are
okay?
commodities,
Yeah.
for sure.
But no, you remember so you never seen those keychain little games where you like raise a pet?
Oh,
Think of,
yeah,
like, yeah. That's called Tamagotchi. That was the first one.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
basically, I think it's kind of follows that style where you would create a pet and then raise it. No, I think that could be that could make for a good NFT case, and I don't think they're doing that exactly here. I think this is more like what's the egg surprise things that the kids that were always into?
My kids love that. They used to love that stuff.
Yeah, they just the unboxing and then
you talking about
kind
the
of similar.
Hatchimals?
Yeah, Hatchimals. There's a bunch of them where it kind of makes sense where you get the where you buy something in hopes of it, with a secretive or some unveiling kind of process. So
Yeah. All right. That's it.
All right, let's remind everybody that you're gonna be around the block.
It's running right where I'm wall. I I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D turned into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D turned into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Smoking on the island, say she wanna ride with me. Took her on a flight, said all her bags from Italy. I sent her with a friend, they shopping there religiously. Whoa, whoa, yeah. She say she love me, but that's when she rockin' Prada bag. Said she ready for the next, I won't not so fast. Slow down, slow down, slow down, girl, don't you crash. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Cause we can mess up that pretty face, but we can fuck up that pretty lady. Tryna kiss up, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I repay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I can't do, baby. No, I can't move, baby. Nothing I can't prove, baby. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D turned into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D turned into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Question marks along your brain, wonder if you should try again. Look at me inside your braces. Can't focus when we face to face. Plenty things I could go say. Name a place I go and pay at. Said she want no boo. Been around the world, plenty things I can show you. Taking flights to GA for our soul food. Gotta pay 1K for GA at my shows too. Keep it 1K with my fans even at my lows. Ooh. That's why I'm back. Show your man the things I've showed you. Tell your man how I used to hold you, but I won't hold you. Your new man is lame and all I spoke is true. Like one smoke for you. That's